Welcome to SVG-TV News and Sports for Friday, January 3rd, 2014. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Officials of the Regional Health Response Team have estimated the cost of damage at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital as a consequence of the recent flooding to be approximately US $314,210. According to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Louis Deschamps, the assessment was conducted between December 29, 2013 and January 2, 2014 by the relevant staff of the ministry and representatives of the Pan-American organization PAHO. He said the assessment was designed to determine the impact of the passage of the Christmas Eve trough, which affected the island, resulting in flooding in various communities across the country. Deschamps said the assessment team outlined that the administrative block suffered damage to records, electrical systems and furniture. Maternity A received damage to electrical beds, outlets, transformers, furniture, as well as the power supply to the cardiotocography, which is used to manage contractions during labor and delivery. Patients' records prior to 2012 were also damaged by water, while the transformer and refrigerator in the lecture room were both damaged. Meanwhile, the male medical ward and corridors were completely washed out, resulting in loss of equipment and supplies that were housed at those locations. Additionally, Deschamps said the CT scan machine at the physiotherapy unit, which received 12 to 15 inches of water, is currently being assessed to determine the extent of the damage. The oxygen plant has also been severely affected and is currently not operational owing to damage to the compressor. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves says the devastation left behind by the Christmas Eve disaster is more than what the state machinery can handle by itself. Speaking to members of the media recently, PM Gonsalves said he is grateful for the assistance given by Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister Kamala Prasad-Bissessar of some US $492,000. The assistance also included heavy equipment and technical personnel.
The state machinery and its resources are inadequate to the tasks at hand. That is why, for instance, we need the civil engineers because 14 bridges have been destroyed and others compromised. The road network in the north of the country has been smashed.
Meanwhile, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and St. Lucia will receive humanitarian support from the UK government as part of their disaster relief efforts in the tune of £200,000. A media release from the British High Commission office states that the UK government will provide essential drugs and medical supplies, as well as water and sanitation equipment, in recognition of the impact on health services and the risk of waterborne diseases spreading. The support is expected to be delivered through the Pan-American Health Organization PAHO, which has expertise and long-outstanding relationships with the ministries of health in both islands. The British support is expected to re-establish health services and support the provisions of emergency medical care in the affected areas, ensure access to clean water and sanitation, and implement disease surveillance. A call for the National Emergency Management Organization NEMO to focus more on preventative measures rather than just preparedness for impending natural disasters. This from North Windward candidate for the opposition New Democratic Party, Lauren Batiste, who was among members of the NDP touring the North Windward area.
Sort of like the areas like people living close to the river bank. You know, and so people living in, and we should have like more like the danger zones. Those are like, for instance, close to the sea, flood-prone areas, and these are some of the things that I would like to definitely see that we actually take on board.
And despite being excluded from a planning meeting held here, leader of the opposition, Annie Eustace, says the party will do what is necessary at this time to help persons in need.
I'm very concerned that action was taken by the government, but it's not surprising. It's not surprising at all. So we will do what we have to do. And as a party, who has 7 out of the 15 seats in the House and who had 49% of the vote in the last election, we should have been working more closely with government, our government along with us, to deal with this disaster. They have made their intentions clear by excluding us from the planning meeting, but we will do what we have to do to bring as much relief as possible to the people in the affected constituencies.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, through its Public Health Inspectorate, says it is continuing water safety surveillance and monitoring activities to ensure that all citizens have safe water for all forms of human consumption following the Christmas Eve disaster. According to a news release by Permanent Secretary Louis Deschamps, given the negative impact of the recent flood, the ministry has secured a consignment of water purification tablets from regional agencies, namely the Pan American Health Organization and the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency. Deschamps says throughout the past week, environmental health officers and other health professionals have been visiting affected communities to not only assess the sanitary conditions of the environs, but also to distribute water purification tablets. Deschamps adds that more than 250,000 purification tablets have been given to householders, individuals and business entities for purification of water, primarily for drinking purposes. The Ministry of Health says the result of the water safety surveillance and monitoring activities are encouraging, noting that there has already been full public acceptance of the use of these tablets and there have been no reported outbreaks of water-related diseases to date. Coming up, we hear that the SVG Teachers Union is bringing relief to affected members of the flooding. That story and more on the local scene when SVG-TV News continues. Stay with us. Welcome back. The SVG Teachers Union has been reaching out to its members affected by the Christmas Eve trough system. Public Relations Officer of the Union, Vibert Lamking, told SVG-TV News that over the last few days, members of the Union have been delivering clean drinking water to affected members, mostly on the leeward side of the island. And President of the SVG-TU, Oswald Robinson, says preliminary figures show that 41 teachers have been affected by the disaster. He described the situation in North Leeward as horrific, noting that there are a number of teachers who have lost their vehicles, household items and sustained damage to their property. Robinson says the distribution of clean drinking water, which they received from the Grenada Teachers Union, will continue in the days to come.
To assure all our members, all our teachers, that the union would be there for you, the union would stand by your side, and the union would render whatever assistance is necessary in this regard. We have also contacted our sister unions in the CUT, and they have indicated their interest and their willingness to assist St. Vincent and Grenadines Teachers Union in this particular crisis.
Thus far we have touched Bukument, Spring Village, Coalsill. We have some of our members off the main in Belmont, Rosebank and Chumuka. And when you do the calculation in terms of the number of persons in each family, it's close to 100. Okay? We were able to distribute a case of bottled water to each of those teachers who were affected from Bukument down. We did not respond to Barley and Layu as yet. Okay, we're waiting on further supplies because we're looking at the areas which were more critical. We have a record system in which whoever receives the water for the family would sign. We have their contact number and everything. Because you know, in this, even though it's a disaster, there are some people who want to take advantage of the situation for their own personal benefit. The Teachers Union is not a business organization, so we are not into any business. We just want to ensure that our members get the water.
Robinson says that they're expecting other assistance from their sister unions across the region. The people of Union Island have come together to assist those affected on mainland St. Vincent by the December 24th flooding. The venture was coordinated by local attorney Heidi Badnock of Ashton, Union Island. Donations were given in the form of food, clothing, disposable diapers, and many more items. The items are expected to be delivered to St. Vincent tomorrow on the MV Gemstar, where they will be collected by the SVG Red Cross and distributed to affected persons. Meanwhile, earlier today, the Salvation Army distributed a number of food items to persons in the South Rivers area who were affected by the flooding. The distribution by the Salvation Army is expected to continue in the coming days. And in the meantime, a group of concerned residents, the South Rivers Police Youth Club, and well-wishers of South Rivers has organized an event for this Sunday, the 5th of January at the South Rivers playing field. The event, dubbed Help Rebuild South Rivers, will assist victims of the area who suffered damage from the trough system. Persons are invited to bring donations of food, clothing, toiletries, pots, eating utensils, containers, bedding, supplies, that's school supplies, and cash to the South Rivers playing field. According to the organizers, it will be a day of solidarity and fun. A cricket match between Radcliffe and rivals starts the day at 10:30 a.m., followed by entertainment from around 3:30 p.m. by reigning soca monarch Skinny Fabulous, Luther, Fireman, Allergy, and Elegance. Children will be treated to the bouncing castle and face painting. All donations are expected to be handed over to Nemo.